Our next speaker is Efren Carrillo. He grew up in the Roseland area of Santa Rosa, completed a Bachelor of Science degree in Environmental Economics and Policy at UC Berkeley. As an undergraduate student, he completed an internship with the Environmental Protection Agency's Air Toxics Division and worked on projects dealing with water economics and public health research. He also worked as the Education and Government Relations Manager at Redwood Credit Union and was on the board of Southwest Community Health Clinic, so he speaks to both of our issues from experience. He was elected to the Sonoma County Board of Supervisors representing the 5th District in November 2008. Efren Carrillo.
Thank you, David, and I wanted to take the opportunity to thank Move On for the proactive action in being out here and spearheading truly a movement that isn't a movement for today, but it's a movement for the future. When we're talking climate change and we're talking health care. And Councilwoman Jacoby, thank you for your kind words and including the County of Sonoma in that vision. I think that when we think health care and we think environment and we think climate change, we seem to think of them as independent entities. And it's very encouraging that our current administration is looking at health care and climate somewhat in a simultaneous way and in the same context. I mean, these are two legislative changes, systematic changes in our nation and in our country that are being taken on at the same time. And let alone if one passes, I'll be happy, but healthcare and climate change, two of the most important issues that we're facing today. If I can share a brief interaction I had 2 months ago with a local elementary school in Forestville. I went in to speak to these kids about government and politics and policy. And I walked away when these kids wanted to talk to me. They wanted to talk to me about clean energy. They wanted to talk to me about electric cars. They wanted to talk to me about healthcare for all. They wanted to talk to me about composting. And to me, that's encouraging to speak to a group of kids in elementary school, educating our policymakers on what they care about. And I think we can learn a lot from our kids and from our children, and that we have to do what we can today to improve the quality of life for the future. We must open a door to a clean energy economy to better the future of our county and our nation. We have seen our reliance on fossil fuels jeopardize the future, not just of this nation, but jeopardize the future of the world. Now is a time to build a new foundation for economic sustainability, clean energy, and jobs. That is critical to the foundation moving forward. The fight to pass comprehensive energy and climate change is about embracing a clean energy future and doing something good, not just for the environment, but doing something good for the economy as well. President Obama and Congress, they spent the majority of this last year on enacting legislation on climate change and healthcare reform. Now, these two initiatives would be significant accomplishments if one of them passes, let alone both of them. I was having a conversation earlier with someone about healthcare reform, and folks on the other side of the aisle are saying we have to wait, we have to be slow, we have to think of how we're moving forward. Well, let me tell you, we've waited long enough. We've waited decades, we waited long enough. The time is now to move that agenda forward. We have a responsibility for improving the quality of life for this environment. We have a responsibility for improving air quality. We have a responsibility for providing affordable health care for those who can least afford it. Whether it's been the debate of the Clean Air Act, whether it's been a debate of the Clean Water Act, or the Superfund law, the same antagonists have said the same thing, that it's going to create a job loss, that it's going to create a tough economy. Well, I'm here to tell you that the Clean Air Act, the Clean Water Act, and the Superfund law that we've passed in the past has not only improved our economy, but it's improved our quality of life for everybody. And we have to keep that in mind, that when Congress is passing federal legislation, we have to ensure that we're taking steps forward and not steps back. The work that our predecessors have done and I believe it was David, you mentioned since the 1970s with Third Day and moving legislation in regards to clean air and clean water, we cannot take steps back. We have to continue to take steps forward on that. Thomas Friedman put it very concisely in a recent book, Hot, Flat, and Crowded. And this is what he said. The ability to develop clean power and energy efficient technologies is going to be the defining measure of a country's economic standing, environmental health, energy security, and national security over the next 50 years. We must be at the forefront of that. We must continue to support our legislators in Washington that will plan to work tirelessly every day to pass legislation that will reduce our dependence on foreign oil, that will create millions of clean energy jobs, and that will protect our children not just from the pollution, but it'll protect our children from other things that sometimes are unintended consequences of the things we do. So I thank you for being here. It's encouraging for me as a young person being a policymaker to see so many people motivated and encouraged. Santa Rosa, Sonoma County, we are the hub to move this agenda forward, and I thank you for the kind invitation. It's an honor to be here with you.
Thank you, Ephraim. Our next speaker was to have been Jared Huffman, Assemblyman from Sonoma County. He unfortunately had to call to say he was staying in Sacramento to try to resolve the budget question. There's a vote scheduled for today. We hope it all gets wrapped up, but he had to stay in Sacramento for that important vote on the budget. He sends his regrets and his best wishes. As a special treat, since we have a little space in the program, we're going to have a song next. Nancy Proctor is an RN and a longtime Sonoma County healthcare advocate and has worked 18 years in hospice care. She's been active as a grassroots organizer, training and supporting underfunded programs that offer care to the most needy and frail elders in our community. She enjoys singing and has graciously consented to share her passion for song with us today. Let's give a welcome to Nancy Proctor.
Thank you, David.